Why do you think the traditional educational model is not working for many students anymore?
I think because it is not taking into consideration the person himself or herself, what they like, what they want, how they learn. It's like almost one formula for everyone. You have to go through grades, you have to pass, you have to do a certain standardized curriculum. You have no choices. You have a lot of them are very theoretical, like why do you do chemistry, or why you do things that you really don't know, and they don't ask even your opinion. So as a person, you're going through this, entering, which is quite a long time, 12 years without even counting kindergarten. It's a long time where you have no choices and no say. You just have to go through it. And the more now everything is accessible, I think young people are understanding that they have choices. They can find what they want. They can find the answers to. It's not that I don't believe that a young person does not like to learn, or learning is always something born with us, and it's part of us. So when you grow up, there is this curiosity in you to learn, to understand, to enjoy. And when you're, as I said, when you're part of that current where you have no choices, you start losing your motivation, losing your interest. Some of them make it, of course, and some don't. And the fact that there are grades, it's always a competition. You're doing everything to get into a good university. So a lot of pressure. Instead of enjoying learning, it's something under pressure. That's why. And again, because now there are a lot of choices where you can discover by yourself, go to the internet and discover whatever you want, and even go deep. So you're seeing a lot of people getting away. It doesn't mean they don't want to learn. They're learning. They're continuing to learn, but not in a standardized, limited structure.
You went to a very impressive university. You went to Columbia, right?
Yes.
What were you studying?
I was studying education and technology.
So what inspired you to actually focus on education? Was it your personal experience with the education system?
Yes and no. Yes. So I was raised in Lebanon. As a girl, I was not allowed to come to the US while my brothers came. My father did not allow me. So I had to go to university there. So I did engineering just because I wanted to show my father that I can be like a boy or a man, and I can do something difficult. So I studied engineering, civil engineering, and when I came to the US and then we moved to Spain, that's when we had the kids. I discovered a different educational system in Europe, which was more centered on the kids, how you should raise them, and the whole culture in Barcelona was very family oriented, very kid oriented. So I fell in love with that, and I really was very interested. So when we moved from Spain to LA, and then I wanted to apply to a degree in education. I was also, at that time, I had started a project that was connecting Armenian schools to each other around the world. And for the first time, I went to Armenia in 97. But it was interesting because the project that I built was very interesting, very progressive, ahead of its time even. And every time I had to deal with schools and principals. And the first question they would ask me is, are you an educator? And I was not. I was an engineer. So because I wanted to also be part of that word, I applied and then got accepted. And when I went to university, I was the only one in my class that had no background in education. Everyone was either a principal or a teacher or connected somehow to a school system. I was the only one. But I was the only one who had done a project that used technology back then. Those are the late 90s, and used technology and the internet and had a lot of experience in doing something like that. So it was very interesting.
So in what way was it ahead of its time?
He was using the internet, but in a very progressive way. How can you use the internet to connect and not just writing emails or even it was games over the internet, connections, discovering each other, using Armenian language and writing in Armenian. We back then in 97, 98, we used something called whiteboard, which when students concealed their identity. For example, I remember a school from LA connected with a school from Lebanon, connected with a school from France, and they had to present themselves as persons from the history. It could be any time, and they would ask questions to each other. And we used to, back then, chat with Armenian letters live, like WhatsApp, but this is 97. And a few times we had to turn the entire connection in Armenia down just for that 1 hour, like now podcast, just for that 1 hour, I wouldn't even call it conference, that our session. Entire Armenia had no internet except from the place where we connected for 1 hour to be able to have the bandwidth to connect with the other countries and to do even video and draw and type in Armenian. So I think we were not that ready. I don't know, we take it for granted now, right? To do calls on Zoom or to see each other, right? You know, you can call right now and talk and see and connect. But a few years ago, those were a dream. Yeah.
So what was driving you at that time, and what exactly were you hoping to accomplish?
Finding a way to keep our Armenian identity using technology, because we had 3 kids back then, and we had hard time keeping our identity in Spain. Before that, we were in New York and then came to LA for Armenian schools. So the fact that you have to move in order to be closer to an Armenian school, to an Armenian community, what if you do something that is accessible from wherever you want and can give you all that?
So was the foundation using the Armenian letters to connect?
Yes, and using very interesting content to connect with each other, like meaningful content.
Like what?
For example, what are the sounds in your city without saying where you are, and describe where you are, and, for example, write one sentence describing your way to school. Those are Armenian schools, connecting with each other. So they had to describe their way to go to school in one phrase, and describing what they see while they're going to school. So you can imagine in LA, going to an Armenian school, you have to drive, right? Mm-hmm. You have to be on the freeway or always in a car. While if you're in Armenia, you can go walking, while somewhere else there is a school bus. In Lebanon, we had school buses, Armenian school buses with Armenian letters on them or something like that. So those are different experiences for different Armenian students going to an Armenian school.
And you're bridging these different communities.
Yes, and to understand, to understand each other, to understand how different they are, but how close they are also at the same time with their identity, and their going to school, to an Armenian school where they're learning probably the same thing. It was, as I said, ahead of its time.
Yeah, but at the same time now traveling back to just remembering being in Armenia, trying to connect to the internet. And I mean, when I'm thinking back to the years that I was doing that, it was definitely not 97. It was many years after that when it was still very difficult to do.
We got a video clip, a video recording of a kid saying different phrases. It was a phrase, I don't remember what it was, but saying it with different accents, like Gümri accent, Gharapa accent, the same phrase. For the first time, hearing a recording while you're sitting in LA and receiving it as an attachment was a miracle.
Oh my God. That really is amazing. I mean, I remember the years when my family and I had just moved here. We would videotape ourselves, send the cassette tape to Armenia so that the grandparents can communicate with us. And then, so that takes weeks or not, or maybe even months to send. And then you get it back. So like the idea that then, we had Skype or just the method to actually communicate directly. It really is such a phenomenal thing. I still remember like the internet dial-up sounds.
Yes, me too.
With our big computers. So when you're in Barcelona and you're so impressed by the different methods of teaching, what was your first kind of cultural shock there that maybe you had an epiphany and you were like, wow, this is what education could be like. Why are we not doing this?
One time I was part of the parents' committee in the school where our oldest son was attending, and there was a group that came. The parents' committee organized this small lecture type thing, and there was a group that came with their instruments or equipment, and they told us that they were traveling through the Silk Road and stopping, and with equipment connecting to satellite connections, they were, I don't know if it was live, but they were connecting with school students. And the school students were capable of asking them questions, and they will tell them how their experience is from country to country. And the fact that these schools were participating in something like that, opening their minds, and the fact that back then, I'm talking 94, 95, for me, it was, wow, if you give schools things like this, opportunities like this, it could be so different than when I went to school in Lebanon, and then even to university in Lebanon. It was that very strict structure, that freedom, that sense of giving students the option to dream, to think, to imagine themselves doing that trip through the Silk Road was amazing. So for me, that was very, very touching. And before that, my son was in a small kindergarten. So we selected I paid a lot of attention going and seeing what options we have. So the kindergarten where he went to, he was like 2-year-old because I was pregnant with the our second son. So I had to put him in a daycare type kindergarten. It was a very good one. And they brought, I remember I went to pick him up, and they had all these little kids sitting on the floor, and they had a person playing violin from the music school in Barcelona. And I was like, wow, giving so much importance to a 2 or 3-year-old kid, and having them listen to classical music, and making them appreciate all that was very touching. Which, in my case, in Lebanon, I had very good memories, but nothing like that.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. I actually saw some videos online. It was on Instagram or TikTok. Excuse me. There were these playgrounds, and the playgrounds were so creative in Barcelona.
Yes.
They were so different from the ones
Yes.
that we're used to here.
Yes.
And then they had these really beautiful spaces for the parents to have a glass of wine.
Yes.
And I thought,
Yes.
when you're sleep deprived and
Yes.
exhausted, it's just how lovely. You
Yes.
can both enjoy yourselves, you know?
Yes, I had done every single park in Barcelona, and I had collected all the books about the parks. Every single one is different, very creative, very creating an environment for kids to appreciate and understand. It was very nice. Yeah.
Well, understanding your background, now I completely kind of see exactly how this leads to TUMO. But before we get into that, were you a good student? What was your experience like in school growing up?
Yeah, I was not maybe the best, but I was a good student. I was always, I don't know, I was always quite like, I had decided to get where I want to.
So you were
Yes.
mission
Yes.
driven.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
I am.
what were your frustrations with school growing up?
Giving sometimes more importance to the ones that are very good in your classroom, and not having that fair. And sometimes, even if you are good in something, it didn't matter. So, yeah, that even in engineering school, I remember we were 90 students, 90 boys, 10 girls.
Wow.
Like, it was like, it's boys' word, man word. You cannot make it there. That made me very frustrated. Like, why women are not allowed to get there.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you had a lot in common with the other 9 who were in the class, the other 9 women? What
Yes.
was it about?
Yes. Yes.
What kind of characteristic do you feel like you had in common that made you want to enter engineering when a lot of
They
other
were
women didn't?
all of them the same mentality. We want to get there.
That rebellious
Yes,
nature
yes,
too.
Yes, yes, definitely. Not the type like I don't know, maybe other universities. I cannot compare because I didn't go to another university back then, but it's not where you will dress, you will have a lot of competition as a girl, nothing like that. It was the tough place.
So how does all of this lead you to becoming the CEO of TUMO?
It's interesting because we used to live in LA, and we decided to leave and move to Armenia after having done the project, the first project called the Three Pomegranate for 4 years.
What is that project?
The project I explained about using the
one that was
internet
ahead
and
of its time.
connecting
Yes.
Armenian schools.
And what's driving you to go back to Armenia? Because you're not born in Armenia, you're not
because
raised in Armenia.
When I started with the project, I first visited Armenia in '97, and I fell in love. Like, I was alone, and I wrote back, I emailed back saying, this is amazing, the place, the feeling, as if when I went for the first time, I felt like I knew Armenia. In another life, I don't know, that feeling that you're not in a strange place. You know it. It was very nice. And then when you go to Armenia with a project and you have things to do, it's different than being a tourist. So you're mission driven, you connect with people, you start knowing people, you work with them, you start building memories, so which is very nice. And I went back and forth. We lived in LA for 7 years, so we went back and forth many times. We even bought an apartment. We start taking the kids every summer to spend longer time, like a month in Armenia. And the more we went, the more we got attached. And the more it was making sense. And as much as LA is a very nice place, but when you come late, adapting here is also difficult. So in one night we made the decision, we're leaving LA, we're going to Armenia. It was hard for our kids. My
How old
husband,
were they at the time?
The oldest was 12, the youngest, the twins were 1.5. So 5 of them. We went in the middle of the year, like February. Snow, cold.
So the biggest culture shock
Yes.
you could possibly give
Yes.
them, you did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
From LA to winters in Armenia.
Yeah, we had to. I told you I spent a lot of time going to and finding the right school for Vahakan, our son, in Barcelona, but in Armenia, you don't have too many choices, we did find a good school where a lot of diaspora Armenians were, and that's where at the beginning we had hard time because they wanted to, between the Arab Madahirin, Arab Elahirin, the two Armenians, it was also a culture shock because everything is in Armenian, math is in Armenian, not knowing Eastern Armenian was problematic. The spelling is different.
It could feel like a completely different language,
Yes,
the dialects.
yes,
So, yeah,
yes.
that's
So-
understandable.
But because the 3 boys were very close in age, so it was easier. They really didn't need too much. They were together. So like a gang, they protected each other. And then the school where they went, there were a few other diasporans, so they made their Western gang and, or group of kids to protect themselves. But it went well, and they graduated, all of them from Armenia. Then they came back to university in the U.S. So when we moved to Armenia, that's when we met. I got this email from Sam saying, I have heard about your project, the school project. It's very interesting. Can you I have this idea. I'm building a building. I have this idea to create a center for the young people, to give them a chance and to learn in the field of technology everything that is available. Would you be interested? And
Sam is the founder of
Yes,
TUMO, and
yes.
he's based in Texas, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So he told me to go and see the building. And as I told you, I'm an engineer. I used to work in New York as a construction manager. When I saw the building and it was empty, like a soccer field, completely empty in concrete, telling you, what can we do here? It was a dream come true. It was unbelievable. So my husband and I, he's an architect and did his computer science degree at MIT, and me with engineering, construction management, plus the degree I had already in my master's degree in education and technology. It was dream come true. So we sat down, we wrote a document, and the document explained exactly like what TUMO is today. And when we met, right away, Sam said, "Can you come to Texas?" And we went, and it clicked. Like, he had the same ideas, the same vision, the same dream to make things happen in Armenia. And when he saw that I have a background in construction management, he asked me if I can complete the building, and that's how it all started. We had to imagine and find a good architect for the interior. We went and connected with a lot of architects. The best one was for our project was in Beirut, because Bernard Khoury, who had done his thesis, how do you sit at Harvard? How do you sit in front of a computer? What does it mean? How should it look like? And we discovered that he's Armenian, half Armenian. His mother is Armenian, architect also. So he wanted to come to Armenia. He had never visited Armenia. So he came, and again, it was the best fit. We worked together to build the first TUMO.
So you have a blank canvas. What are you prioritizing?
You're combining two things. Education. How should education be? What does it mean, a space for education? It doesn't have to be like a school. It's empty. Okay, what does it mean? How should it be? And at the same time, what is important in this space? Who is important in this space? And how do you walk around in this space? How would we make it feel comfortable, permanent? You have freedom. You want to be there. You want to learn. You want to see what others are doing. So all that was very important. And the space being completely empty made it easier, because you can do whatever you want. Yeah.
It's really incredible, because the first time that I visited the TUMO Center in Armenia, I remember just wishing I could be a student again. It was an environment where you really feel like you want to have a chance to sit at those desks, to sit in the seats, and it just felt so creative and so fun and imaginative. And we were talking about that with the drummer of Avenged Sevenfold, Brooks Wackerman, about the fact that we both had kind of negative school experiences here. You feel very confined because the schools look like jails here.
Yes.
And it's just not really like, when you're entering the doors, you're not like, hey, I'm so excited to be here. It's not visually exciting. So I really do admire that about TUMO, that it's also just so, the architecture's amazing. What were the obstacles that you ran into?
It was tough to do construction in Armenia. I started 2006. By the time we prepared all the drawings, construction, I was by myself running the show. But at the same time, it was very nice. The more you moved forward, the more you gained more confidence, the more you wanted to continue. I remember one of the contractor, we were making samples, trying things, and he told me, like, why do you care? Those are kids. Whatever you give them, they have to accept it. And I said, no.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. We have to respect them, and we have to give them our best, so that we expect the best from them in return. We have to really create something where they will think, this is for me. Yeah.
And I mean, creating a culture of excellence and excellent systems has to start with actually nurturing the talent of the individual kids
Yes.
and focusing on what makes them different, what their areas of strength are, and where their curiosity lies.
Yes.
Because if you're trying to do like a one size fits all for all the kids, I mean, we're all so different from one another. It just doesn't work.
Yes. You're right.
So what do you feel is the foundation of the TUMO model that works for the kids? What makes your system so different, and what makes it successful that you've been able to export this model from the small country of Armenia internationally, where now other countries are using your model and licensing your softwares and your programs?
Several things. The first is the choices that you give, and of course, no stress. You don't have. If you don't like it, you can leave. You can change. You can try something else. So it's not like you have to go all the way and pass everything. So let's say you took programming, you discovered that it is not what you want, or you did game development and you discovered that, or robotics, you discovered that you have skills for this. There are no grades at TUMO. There are a lot of choices. We do a lot of hands-on projects. We bring learning lab leaders from all over the world that are bringing their experience, their creativity, their project, and you're working with them almost equal, and you're discovering your passion or your skills, and the motivation. The more you do things where you're learning and you're understanding, the more you're motivated, the more you want to explore more and do things more. And those are always, again, choices you make. You create your own learning plan at TUMO. You make your own choices. You decide how fast you're going or how slow you're going. We're now adding features where you can change your days even. You can come 1 month on specific days and another month on another. If you see a target, for example, a learning lab or a project that you want to get to, it shows you what are the steps in order to get there. You can see what your friends are doing. We do a lot of projects that are real life projects. So, for example, now we're designing a stamp for TUMO that will be an official stamp in Armenia. The students are designing the stamp, and they can put those in their portfolios, showcasing what they have achieved. We do a lot of 3D scanning for Armenian monuments, and those are very important. So we're creating a platform where the students are adding their 3D scans, oral history, a lot of recordings of oral history. So they're participating in something very important. And again, you choose to be part of those. 2 days ago or 3 days ago, the Queen of Belgium was visiting us, and we went and visited the music studio. They had prepared a song, and it was created by them that was unbelievable in Armenian, like rock song, and I had tears. Like, you could never imagine how these young people are creating something that you're really proud of, and they were enjoying it.
I'd love to hear that. Can you send it to me
Yes,
after?
yes.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. Another aspect of TUMO that I found to be really interesting is that you don't have teachers.
Yeah, we have coaches that always unstuck you, and we have workshop leaders that are running workshops. but not per se teachers, and you don't have a specific teacher or teachers. So those workshop leaders are professionals from their areas. They come and teach. They come and run the workshop, and it's really, they are people who are helping you to navigate and to understand the different workshops that you are participating at. The idea is
psychologically too, I think it's interesting because it's less of like an authority figure
Yes.
and more of mentorship.
Yes, yes.
So that also must be
yes.
different psychologically and emotionally for
Yes.
students to
and
be
then
there.
we don't have age groups, so that's interesting also. You can have a workshop where a 12-year-old kid is sitting with a 16-year-old kid. So imagine when you were at school, you always looked up, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes. And imagine if you are in a class where in a workshop where not competing, but we are working together, a 12-year-old and a 16-year-old. What would it do to the 12-year-old? It will really
you.
inspire. Yeah.
Absolutely. So walk me through what a day in TUMO is like. The student enrolls, and then what happens next?
So when they come, first they do self-learning activities, we call them. They can sit wherever they want. They do a very short guiding orientation period just to get their feet wet, to understand what does it mean self-learning. Because self-learning also in Armenia is not something common. Like when you go to school, everything is so organized, structured. Even I remember my kids doing math, even the math exercises, they had names, like this one is that type of math exercise, the other one is I don't know what. Was very strange. So when they do self-learning, they take their time to first choose what they want, in which area they want to start, and there is a path that is drawn for them, showing them how many self-learnings they have to do to get into the first level of workshop, and then the second level of workshop, and then the third, which we call projects and learning labs. And the path calculates your choices. And every time you come, you will see that if you have done some learning, some self-learning, how far are you from entering a workshop? If you take longer, it will show you. Let's say you can take 1 month. If you took 2 months because one time you're absent, or one time you didn't really get it and you had to repeat it, so it will show you when is the next time the workshop that you wanted to get in is available. And self-learning is very interesting. You sit wherever you want. And we have these 2 mobiles in Yerevan where you can even change your direction of sitting. So you can have your friend next to you. Sometimes they put 4 of them next to each other, or you can face the wall. You don't want to see anyone. So it gives you this freedom of be yourself, do whatever you want. You can even get up, move, go to and sit somewhere else. You can even take a break. There is a small cafeteria. And then it's very interesting that we built the workshop rooms transparent, because I saw in Armenia the schools were always not transparent, like it. And even in Armenia there are rooms that have double doors. Remember them? Like it's crazy. I don't know why you need double doors.
Another jail.
Yes.
Right? Lock you out completely.
Yes. So for us, the fact that we wanted kids to see each other, to see what is happening in a workshop room, to see the energy, to want to be there, was important. So when you walk, you can, as I said, you can change your sitting. You can see, if you're interested to see what is going on in a robotics workshop, you can just watch. If there is a lecture at the same time, You can leave your seat, go and listen to the lecture and come back. So those are things that are very important. There are no decoration. We don't have paintings on the walls. We don't have pictures of the best students. We don't have announcements. Sometimes we have works from students that are very not permanent, like they will be there for 1 week, 2 weeks, and
switch them out
and change. Yes.
Is there any kind of a certificate of completion or anything like
No,
that?
there is something called portfolio. We call it living portfolio because it changes throughout time. You decide what you want to put in your portfolio. You change. You have all the database from your path that allows you to put what you want. You can, and it's yours. It's up to you to manage it. So those are things that are very important for you to understand. You're the owner of what you're learning. You're the manager of your time. You make decisions of what you want to be, where you want to go, how fast you want to go. Do you want to be part of certain learning labs or not? And it's not because we're comparing you to someone else. It's about you, only you.
This sounds like it would have been a dream system for me. So if I can somehow travel back in time and attend TUMO. Is there an age restriction on
12 to 18.
Well,
Yes.
I'm 18, okay? No, but it's so great because when I think back to my frustrations in school, I was bored most of the time. The first time that I actually started enjoying education was when I went to college. And in college, at least you have a little bit of agency. Like you
Yeah.
can pick between certain subjects. And I thought, okay, I love psychology, I love philosophy, I love English. And then you can opt out of some other things. But it was always like I was the best student in the subjects that I loved. And I was just barely getting by with the subjects that I didn't like. So the fact that this gives you agency and makes you feel like you're not just forced to get into the system, I'm sure it's so much more inspiring.
Yes.
I doubt you have students just kind of hanging around and not doing anything, right?
Yes, and sometimes there are, and if you let them, they slowly understand that it's up to them, right, to make their own decisions, and that's very important. One day you probably went to school when you were in a class and you were not listening, right?
Of course.
So
More times than not.
yeah. So it happens to all of us. So the most important is for them to know how much, it's not like you always can do that, because then you will realize you're losing something.
In an environment like that, I feel like there has to be a latent learning of some sort anyway, even if they're not actively participating.
Yes.
Subconsciously,
Yes.
there's just a
Yes.
different culture
Yeah.
being set. And I feel like that's equally as important. You might not come out with a specific skill set that
Exactly.
you went to achieve, but you're still going to be learning anyway.
Yes.
And you're going to
the
get
fact
inspired
that we have
anyway.
lectures in the middle of the space, it's for them, even if they are not necessarily interested. Maybe they will hear something that could interest them. Maybe they will see something. Exposing them to all the time to new things is very important.
We talked earlier about the fact that my husband's done a workshop in TUMO, my mom has done a workshop in TUMO, my best friend has. I remember I visited when my mom was doing the workshop. She's an animator and assistant director for The Simpsons. And so they were recreating the couch
remember her.
scene.
Yes.
Yeah, they were recreating the couch scene. I was shocked, honestly, that such young students were so skilled and so impressive. And my mom was just so pleasantly surprised too. We think back to that day so frequently, and it was really a beautiful experience. So the fact that you're able to constantly reach out to all of these different professionals so that the students can interact with them, ask questions, learn from them, Was that a part of the original model, or is that something that...
Yes,
Wow.
yes. In Gapan, I went and visited Gapan and to meet with parents. And the mother approached me and said, my daughter did workshops in graphic design, and she loved it. She's really talented. She loves it. And then apparently she went to a nail salon and proposed that to do their branding and their logo. And she did it. And then she got, I don't know for how many months, free nail polish sessions. And she was so proud that she was able to get that.
That is so funny.
Yes.
So she's enjoying the perks of it
Right.
already. Was it also a part of the original model to then start exporting? Actually, before I ask you about the exporting, how do you come up with the software?
So we built our own software,
Who do you
in-house.
hire to do that? Like who actually works on that?
We have now a team of 25 engineers that are building all the time. So it's not something that you build and you're done.
You have to update it all the... And
all
now with
the time.
AI.
And now with the AI. Yeah.
Okay, so tell me
Yes.
about AI.
Wow, we're doing unbelievable things. Again, ahead of the time, ahead of our time. So we're building a platform where the self-learning is going to be with an AI coach and an AI co-learner. So you're there and you have an AI coach and a student that is an AI person or AI co-learner, we call it. So we're training the AI co-learner to be most of the time slower than you. And sometimes when we feel like you need help, the AI co-learner can tell you things or do things and show you how to do it. And then you will feel comfortable because it's not a competition. It's an AI co-learner, so you will feel quite good. And you can learn from the co-learner, and at the same time you have discussion with both of them. And you can either type or you can talk, and they talk Armenian. And they, for example, you have to do something in graphic design. So let's say you're not getting it. The co-learner will say, you know what, look at mine. I'm trying to show how loud this logo should be and what is important. What if you do something like me? But what helps us is we're going to collect all this information to understand how the learner was developing or moving forward and where do they need help, so that we always make sure that at the end of the self-learning activity you learn something, but at your ease with this system. And I think it's something that will open a lot of doors in education. We have showed it to some experts, and I think it's something that is very unique, that can evaluate the learning, your learning capability, where you need help, how many times you have to repeat, and giving you options to learn, how to learn, and giving you options. If you're faster, it will make it more difficult and more challenging. If you're slower, it will give you options. Even it will allow you to go in a tangent so that you understand it better and you come back to the goal. We're already testing it, and before the end of the year, we'll have the whole system available.
I love that it's so individualistic. I worked as a tutor for a few years straight out of college, and I was working with different students of different ages, from little kids to adults. And you realize along the way, some people are visual learners, some people are auditory learners. You have to really cater your teaching to each student the way that they learn and absorb the information best.
Yes.
So this sounds like it's a really amazing tool that will cater to their specific needs.
And the more you collect information from those experiences, the more you will be able to train the AI to understand what to propose and how to propose it, and what will get you to better results. So it has a huge potential.
AI is so fascinating, amazing, and terrifying all at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, but for things like this, I mean, it's just incredible.
Yes.
It's really amazing. So then how do you end up exporting this model to so many countries? TUMO is expanding so rapidly internationally.
I think every country needed something like this. That's the real answer. We saw how Germans, when they saw the program, how they grabbed it, and we have now more than 5 centers. They're going to open by year 2028, up to 30 centers. Japan was the same. You would never imagine that. I think their school system is so structured and so closed that they're having problems big time with the students, and they're discovering the answer to their problems.
Yeah, the effectiveness of a completely different system.
Yeah.
So are you actually targeting the more strict, structured countries first to propose?
Not necessarily.
No?
They came to us. For example, we also are now for the first time in India, and we're opening in a few months. There is a big need also there. A lot of school students are not going to school, so the more you engage them and the more you attract or you give them hope for the future, you can do it too. The more it's important. In Portugal, for example, we have 3 centers. I went 3 weeks ago for the opening of Porto. I was so happy to hear them talk as if it's their baby, and they want to open more than 3, and they understood and adopted the whole system so well that you're so proud that something we would have never imagined that something from Armenia could, be so essential in other countries like Portugal or France or Germany.
And these aren't Armenians that are opening the
No.
TUMO centers.
No.
They're actual locals.
Exactly.
And now you're here for the LA opening of TUMO. And again, not Armenian owned, right?
Non-Armenian.
So
yes.
tell me about it.
Yeah, that's
Full
another
circle.
big.
You're back in LA.
Yes, that's a big dream also. We got a lot of help from the city of LA and the state of California, but at the same time, it was very important not to put it in an Armenian neighborhood, to put it in North Hollywood, where you will have a mix of people, a lot of from different background, different communities. That is LA. That is very important. And opening a center in the U.S. and starting from LA, I think, is key. Here it's that melting pot of all these different communities, Armenian, Mexican, American, everything is mixed. So I think it will enrich the program. It will really enhance it. and showcase that it is so important, because this community, these kids coming together also is very important. Working on project together is very important. Understanding each other is very important. A wealthy kid and another from a family that doesn't have the means, having the same opportunity, being in the same space, working on the same project, only giving importance about how you think, what you can achieve, what you're learning, and not where you come from is very important. The fact that it's always free of charge is very important. So I think hopefully it will be a big success, and we will be able to expand in the US, in other cities as well.
Are there any plans to expand with the age groups also? Maybe starting younger?
Now, our spaces are always empty during the morning hours because it's an after-school program. So yes, why we haven't done it? We have so much work to make this happen to all the 12 to 18 already. It's a lot of work and a lot of time. And as I said, anything you do, it's not like you do it and it's done. You always have to develop it. You always have to update it. You always have to add everything that is new in technology. So we never had really the time, but hopefully we'll do it one day. Yes.
Why was that age important, 12 to 18?
It's very important because I think you will relate to it too. It's the age where before 18, it's where you're free. You can dream, you can experiment. You want to discover what you want to do, and it's not like, oh, I am doing this degree, I have to finish it, then I have to find work, then I have to do this, then I have to do that. It's the age where you're really free to discover, and I think it also is important to give you all these options at that age, so that you're more confident when you come to decide what you're going to do in your life. It's a very important age, I think. I think agree. 12 to 18, they're very, very intelligent. They know. They're not kids. They're not kids. Below 12, it's yes.
Yeah. I was listening to this podcast that I thought was so depressing. It was talking about these studies. When do kids feel the best in school? It's kindergarten and the very end, when they know they're finally done.
Yes.
Because kindergarten, everything is new. They're still curious. They're excited. And then the study was saying that year by year, they just,
lose it. Yeah.
They lose it more and more each year and feel more confined and less excited and less inspired about education.
Yes.
So, yeah, again, this is one of, TUMO is one of my proudest kind of exports from Armenia that I'm most excited about. TUMO exporting its software and licensing the software to different countries. How does that in turn help Armenia?
So when we license our software and the content and the whole system, it's a franchise model. So every country pays us this franchise fee that comes back to the TUMO Foundation, and that sustains our expansion in Armenia. So not all of it, but quite a good chunk. Because remember, we built these centers, and once we built them, they're there, and we have to maintain them. We have to have the staff, we have to keep the center, we have to update the equipment, we have to work on developing new content. So all that is a lot of work and a lot of expenses. So the more we franchise, the more we have consistent income that helps us maintain our Armenia centers. We work also on fundraising, of course. That is an important chunk to not only build the centers but also maintain the centers and the boxes that we have.
What are the boxes?
We realized that Armenia has big cities, like Yerevan is the biggest, and then Gyumri and Vanator. And once after Gyumri and Vanator, Armavir, Masis, a little bit around Yerevan, suddenly you have these cities that are not as big in population, and a lot of villages. So we wanted to make sure that we can reach every single teenager from 12 to 18 and give them a chance to be part of the TUMO system. So we created this idea of a small space that is in a village or a small city. There are two 40-foot containers and a small tower. It's fully equipped with 16 workstations, and they do their self-learning there. So we went over the map of Armenia, all the information, how many schools, where they are, which cities. We met with all the marsbeds and the mayors of different cities to see where transportation is happening. And we created this map of 16 centers. We call them the hubs, and we have boxes around them. So, for example, Gyumri has 10 boxes in different villages or small cities. They do their self-learning in the box, and we bus them to the center for workshops. When we bus them, you can imagine that from 10 boxes, different students for different days, for different workshops, they come to the center. Workshops are usually 40 to 50% of their time. And when they come, they're not in a class with or in a workshop with their friends only from their village, but they are getting to know other people from other places. And this mix is very important also. And sometimes we do learning labs in the boxes so that it's not something more than just self-learning is happening in the box. And hopefully we'll do some online workshops also from the box, so we don't bus them all the time. Because sometimes some boxes, for example, the birth box is 2 hours away from the center. And we bus them on Saturday, and we have 2 sessions on a row. But still, it's a long way to come to the center and then to go back.
What are some of your key observations with the TUMO alumni?
I always tell this story that in Yerevan, sometimes in other cities also, or outside Armenia, they stop me, especially in Armenia, they stop me telling me, "You're Marie Lou, right?" And I say, "Yes." And the first thing, either a parent or a student, they say, "You changed our lives." It's amazing. That's the biggest gift we can get.
Yeah, both of us got emotional over that because
and
it really
satisfaction.
is. Yeah, I mean, you're
unbelievable.
giving opportunities, really life-changing opportunities to so many kids. And it's such a really beautiful process of self-discovery.
Yes.
You know, and discovering your own potential.
We have even parents that are saying, "We didn't know they're good in this or that," or now they like to learn. They even enjoying more school than before. It's amazing.
It's really a beautiful thing. When people ask me about Armenia, TUMO is one of the things that I always mention because I think it's really such a beautiful center, such an important system. And it really, I think it's really important to create a culture of excellence in our country. So TUMO is such a big part of doing that. And thank you for all of the amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here and sharing it with us.
Thank you.
This episode is sponsored by Voskevas Winery in Armenia. This family-run wine castle is known for its unique architecture and award-winning wines. Planning a tasting, tour, or special event, call 374-9955-0970. So let's talk about the learning labs. I mean, how would you describe the learning labs to
Learning
the
labs
audience?
are, we invite learning lab leaders. So at the beginning, it was only, we started finding people who would like to come and teach, and they were usually Armenians from all over the world, especially from the US, from friends, people we know, we suggested. But then slowly it became a movement, really. And we have almost half of our learning lab leaders now are non-Armenians that are coming to discover TUMO, to discover Armenia, to love to teach. Those are professionals that come for 2 weeks. They have to come minimum 2 weeks. We invite them, we pay for their ticket and their accommodation, but there is one rule that we do not pay them. And they come and teach. When they teach, they're giving their best to the students. And the students are also, respecting these people who are coming all the way and from everywhere. Sometimes we have even people like from China or Japan where we need to have a translator to work with them. Some of our learning lab leaders came who did not even know where Armenia is. I remember John Lee. He's a photographer, amazing workshop leader. He came to, and he's a food photographer. So we organized this food photography learning lab. And I had a call with him, and he said, I don't know where Armenia is. Can you please show me? And when he came, he had done his homework. He discovered that this is back when we could go to Artsakh. So he said, I asked him and if he's okay to take him to Artsakh, and he said yes. So what we organized for him during the workshop was first 4 groups. We organized a train trip to Gyumri with all the students and him. So our students took the train from Yerevan to Gyumri for the first time. I was surprised, like why you never took the train, and the train is quite cheap. It was a very nice experience because it's not a regular train. It's a Soviet train in wood, not very comfortable, but at the same time, a lot of people move their produce back and forth from villages to Gyumri and from Gyumri back. So you see all these people coming and taking a seat with their boxes and their produce. And the train is full of fruits and produce. Very, very nice. I
can smell it.
Yes. So we took a lot of pictures. Then we went to Gyumri. We spent the day there. We went to 2 families where they cooked special dishes that are very Gyumri dishes. So for the students, we ate at their house. So for the students to discover all that was very interesting. Then with the photos we took from the train, we did an exhibition, a moving exhibition, where we printed the photos that the student took, and we printed postcards, and we put them in the train for 1 week. And those same people discovered their photos, their items, and they were able to take the postcards back home. It was very nice. We did even music on the train. Then the 4 groups, one went to families, discovering what does it mean, family mean, how important it is, the table, the dinner around a table. So those were photos. The market, where do this produce come from? Where what does it mean, a market? How people come and bring their items to the market? How do they sell? What is the life? What is the everyday life there? Another group went to Artsakh. Where is Artsakh? What typical dishes they have? What does it mean? Jungalov huts, the market, and everything else. And the restaurants. We did also, one group went and did nice restaurants and nice dishes. So then after all this, we did, of course, we did a very nice exhibition showcasing the photos that the students took. And then John Lee came back and said, we need to do a book about Armenian food and Artsakh. Not diaspora, but focusing on Armenia. And he organized it, and he did a book called Lavash. Some students went and shadowed him during the book. He brought 2 professionals, and he did a book about Armenian food, and we had the opportunity to have some of our students shadowing them, professionals, preparing the book. So all these experience, and now Lavash is quite a nice book about Armenian food and Armenian cuisine. So this whole experience with someone, a Taiwanese, Chinese American coming to Armenia, discovering Armenia, discovering Artsakh, wanting to do a book, working with the students on every single detail of the photos, having a section on his website talking about Armenia is an amazing experience. And so many other like him came. And I know that students keep in touch with all these people that gave those courses. It's an amazing experience, and I want to thank all of them who came, devoted their time, believed in TUMO, because their work is very important, but the students are very important too. And thank you very much.
Yeah, and it goes beyond education. It builds bridges, it makes these new connections, and it just has a trickling effect.
Mindset, opens minds.
No, it's amazing. Well, I can only imagine creating such a new and innovative system. You must have faced so many obstacles, so many people that didn't really believe in it, I'm sure, because it was not the traditional system. What are some of the biggest hardships you had in the beginning, and how did you overcome them?
When we had our first parents meeting, they didn't show up. And slowly they started coming.
Is it because they just didn't take it seriously as an educational system?
Because they were not used to you asking question, what do you want? Or what do you see? Or what would you expect? Or because the Armenian or Soviet school never asked questions to the parents, never asked for their opinion, never asked them to come to school to say something.
It was a system of compliance.
Right.
And that's where
exactly.
it ends. Yeah.
Yes. So it was the first time I was shocked. But then now, when I go, sometimes there is no place to sit. It's crazy. Yeah. Where were we? In Kapan. It was full house. Like it was impossible to sit, or we didn't have that many chairs. And in Yereknatsor, same thing. In Gümri, now I enjoy more and more meeting them, hearing them, telling us stories about their kids. Their expectation in Goch, they started doing carpooling to bring students from different far areas to TUMO. The parents, it's so nice.
Was there
Very
ever
nice.
a moment you wanted to give up?
No, I'm not that type. I never give up. My husband tells me that I don't hear the no or you cannot. Like, I just ignore it.
Don't you think that's one of the key ingredients of, I think that's one of the key ingredients of a successful person, not giving up?
Yeah, I think so. Because why would you give up? I don't know.
But was there a moment that maybe something felt nearly impossible to you and you overcame it and you just feel proud of being able to overcome that moment? I just imagine you in Armenia.
Construction was difficult.
Do you feel like
Construction was
that's-
more difficult. Now, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes, for example, placing a box is difficult. Trying to find solutions for transportation is difficult.
I just imagine there must have been so many people in the beginning. Marie Lou
They told me, they even told me in 1 year you're going to close and leave. I have been there for 20 years now. They told me in 1 year you're going to close and leave, like everybody else did projects. They came, talked, and then they just closed and left. And I was like, what?
So for other people who would want to follow in your footsteps and do something innovative and contribute to the culture, what advice would you give them?
You have to believe in what you're doing. And I'm not saying you have to start small, but you have to take steps. It's not about, I want to have a TUMO as big as what it is now. You have to work hard. You have to work long hours. Until now, we really work hard and a lot. Like, it's not even normal, probably. That's how you make it happen. Otherwise, you have to put a lot of effort and you have to care. The most important is caring about what you're doing. For me, it's never enough. I remember there was a book saying that every time you decide something, it's like you reach that point, and that point starts getting away from you, further away. Because once you put all your energy and you get somewhere, then you already matured. And then whatever you decided seems not enough. And you can do more. You can do more. You can do better content. You can add things. You can add another project. We're adding now a project in culinary school. You can, and every time we do a project, it's a culinary school with the renovation of the market of Gyumri. Why? Because it's one of the hardest things to solve. The market was sold. The people were left with no market on the street for I don't know how many years now, more than 10, 15 years, with no roof. How can you solve all that social problem? How can you bring them back inside, give them a decent space? How can you make that project educational and something to be proud of? So the culinary school is important. How can you bring very good examples of culinary schools from abroad to Armenia? That's another challenge. Who cares about Armenia and the culinary scene in Armenia? It's quite difficult.
Yeah. But I also think another great takeaway is this is one of those primary examples of be the change that you want to see in the world. You're not relying on authority figures, government, anyone.
You have to do it yourself.
You went and you did it yourself. And I think it's such a great
Yes.
example for other people to follow.
And the satisfaction you get
Yeah.
will give you the energy to continue and to fight and to make it happen.
Just seeing the spirit of those kids at TUMO, just that alone is enough to motivate one to want to do so much to contribute.
You're right. Yes.
Marie Lou, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
It's been a pleasure talking
Thank you.
to you.
Thank you.
A huge thanks to Torpedo Comics and Essentia Beauty Spa for helping to make this podcast possible. You've probably seen Torpedo Comics in your local malls, but you can also visit them online at torpedocomics.com for an amazing selection of comics and collectibles. As for Essentia Beauty Spa, their beauty experts are truly unparalleled. I trust Diana, the founder, with all of my hair needs. She's simply the best. For more information, visit essentiabeautyspa.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Your support helps this channel grow, allowing us to bring you even more engaging and high-quality content. You can also follow us across all social media platforms.